Hey there, fellow travelers of the cinematic cosmos. I'm your guide, Joseph Charafi, and I'm here to invite you to ride shotgun on a wild journey we call Flashback Montage. On this trip, we'll plunge headfirst into the glorious chaos of film, TV, and the strange tales of lifestyle coaches who have shifted the tides of human consciousness. In each episode, we'll storm the gates of a different year, exploring the psychedelic depths of the stories that made us weep, laugh, and redefine the American dream. So my friends, throw your aviator glasses on, grab some popcorn, and buckle up for a mind-bending escapade. Subscribe to Flashback Montage on YouTube, and together we'll dance with the ghosts of our favorite celluloid memories. See you on the other side. Welcome to Flashback Montage, the podcast where we take a trip down memory lane and revisit some of the most iconic movies, TV shows, and cultural moments of the past. I'm your host, Joseph Charafi, and each week I'll be joined by a special guest as we dive into a specific year and explore the highlights of that time. From blockbusters that defined the era to shows that kept us glued to our screens, we relive the nostalgia and celebrate the classics that still hold up till today. But we won't just be talking about entertainment. We'll also take time to look at lifestyle coaches who inspired and influenced us and how their impact can still be felt in our lives today. It's a journey through time that will make you laugh, reminisce, and maybe even shed a tear. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's take a trip back in time with Flashback Montage. So my guest here is Kevin Sanders, a thespian local to Las Vegas. And he is a personal friend of mine and colleague. And I'm just super honored to actually just have you here with me, Kevin. Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about you?
So I'm an actor, performer. I grew up doing theater in high school. Then I ran off and I ran off to the circus. Lived that whole life, came back and started doing variety acts over on the Las Vegas Strip. From there, I kind of transitioned into film work, and now I'm kind of working into stunt work as well. So
that's amazing, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm just super excited. I know that you love films and TV shows. We actually would watch the House of Dragons when we could get together in person.
Yeah, watch party. That was rad. That was really rad. It was fun though. And a show like that, you kind of need more people in the room to watch it, to enjoy it. Otherwise you watch it by yourself. It's kind of boring.
That's so funny. Okay. I enjoy watching it. I hope that hopefully this next season that comes up, we can get that going too and add some more people. Let's get started. Let's talk about your top movies, your top films, like top 5, right? So going from 5 to 1, in order of importance. And, we're going to talk about them. I want to know why you picked them. And, film is just so important. It encompasses so much art, and so much work from so many different people to make it good. So let's take a step down that lane. What is your 5th top movie? What would you say?
My 5th top movie? Off the top of my head, I'm going to say Fight Club right away.
Fight Club. Wow.
Fight Club.
Okay. Fight Club. Give me a little bit of why. Give me a lot of why, actually.
The underlying tone of it is just like being able to let go and not letting things consume you. It's not so much about like underground fight clubs or anything like that. It's just like being so obsessed with society and, what is going on, especially now with like social media and stuff like that. It's just being able to saying, fuck all that. I'm sorry, screw all that.
No, it's all good.
And yeah, it pretty much goes back to saying, screw all that and just live your life. None of that matters. And so that's one of the reasons why I say Fight Club is one of my top movies. Just because, you go through life, and every time, I hit, speed bumps, sometimes I resort back to certain movies, which will probably be on my top 5. But Fight Club is one of them, You get so wrapped up and caught up with certain things that you just kind of have to say, screw it. It doesn't matter, Let it be, and just live your life. So.
Living on the table. That's awesome. Yes, Fight Club. If you guys aren't familiar, you should definitely get familiar. This is a classic. 1999 American film directed by David Fincher, starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, Helen Bonham Carter, based on the novel by Chuck Palahniuk. It's kind of like some surreal psychological thriller. Some best of Fincher stuff. Honestly, it's one of my favorite films for sure. I would say it's definitely on one of my top 10 lists. And just because I want to say you think you know what you're watching, right? That was one of those movies when I saw when I was younger, and you think you know what you're watching, and then it turns on you, and then it all starts making sense. And it was just one of those movies that I had never read the book before I saw the movie, so I wasn't prepared. So I just thought that the way that they handled everything, and Brad Pitt was so cool in it, Edward Norton, they killed it, man. So was there a time that you kind of remember watching that? I know you said that you kind of dipped in and out sometimes of like when you're hitting a rough patch, some movies that you hit, you would kind of go over.
Yeah. I mean, like,
would you remember watching Fight Club for the first time? I mean,
I remember watching it and everyone being like, "Oh, this is the coolest movie," you know, and for me, like, it never really registered, like, you know, the whole actual like underlying tone behind it. And so I was like, yeah, it's a great movie. And I liked it because everyone else liked it, you know, which is the irony of it, because that's not what, you know,
right.
It's kind of the opposite of what the movie is about. But
so did you find your way then to it? So that, because I mean, it's top 5, it's on your top 5 list now. So were you just like, I liked it to like it back in the day, but now I like it because I actually like it?
It's just certain things that just kind of like, you know, rewatching it, like that would come up, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh wow, that really hits right now. And so it's just like, I remember that. And so sometimes, like, you know, I'll go back and then I'll learn something new. Plus, I mean, like, I always butcher his last name, but Chuck Palahniuk. I don't know
something. I always say Palahniuk, but I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. The guy is such a great writer. And I saw him do a reading live out here in Vegas.
Oh, really? A Fight Club?
No. He did. It was back when I was 18, and he did a story for Playboy. And so he came out and he read that short story in front of, you know, a whole audience, and then he answered questions about, you know, his past movies and stuff like that. And Fight Club actually started off as a short story as well.
Wow.
That whole scene about Planet Starbucks and all that, you know, that whole scene started as just one short story.
Oh, wow.
I think it was like chapter 7.
That's crazy.
And then he wrote around it. So
insane. So Fight Club.
And actually, you know, going back to actually remembering, I think I want to say one of the times it like the movie really clicked is actually when I lived in LA. And I was actually, I lived out there. I gave it a whole year, you know, I was doing the whole actors thing and stuff like that. But I was also doing a salary job. I was working at a nightclub, doing social media. And so it wrapped up most of my time. And so, you know, I kind of found myself like not knowing, like, what am I doing, you know? And so I would watch that and it hit. I was just like, oh man, don't get so caught up in things. Like, just step back, you know, and just live life, you know, enjoy things. So,
wow, that's powerful. Yeah. Thank you. I remember one thing specifically about Fight Club that I remember back in the day when people would watch DVD commentaries. I don't know if anybody is still doing that anymore, but that you would buy a DVD back in the day, and you would be able to watch commentary on it. Now everybody just streams it. Like, nobody owns. I mean, people own them, but like for the majority, people just like buy streaming services and then they just watch the movies. They don't own the actual movie with the special features.
Yeah, no, you can't get any of that cool stuff.
No,
bloopers and all that stuff.
Yeah, the bloopers, you find it on what else? You can find the extra scenes and the behind the scenes stuff on YouTube usually. But you got to buy DVDs, folks. I think buy them. Buy the Blu-ray, get the special we got to get that back. I am a advocate of going back to the movies, making movies that are worth going to the movie theaters for. I think that's one. Give the customers something they really want. Like something like Top Gun Maverick did really well was like it gave people like a feeling of like, I need to go see this into theaters, and not just like, oh, I can get away with it, watch it on, you know, the show, but a proponent of that, but also buying the copy again. I don't know how we're going to do that. I don't know what we're going to shift into, whether it's the digital copy or whatever, but they need to figure out how to do the commentaries again and more special bonus features for buying the movies. Like give incentives for people to buy. Again,
well, here's the thing. The way fads are working as of right now, what is it? Couple of years ago, we were in the 80s. We went through the 70s, 80s. Right now, we're in the whole 90s fad right now, where everyone's like wearing their hair just a little bit longer. You know, everyone's wearing like more plaid or
more flannel,
and stuff. Yeah, you know. And so, come a couple more years, everyone's going to start having spiky hair, frosted tips, you know, puka shells, and they're going to start buying more DVDs and CDs again.
Okay, good. I'm hoping so. As a filmmaker.
But no, I mean, like, it's true. You need to buy those because what happens once your internet goes out? And it's happened to me a couple times where the internet goes out and you have nothing to do. I still have a folder full of DVDs, like, you know, that I've had
something
the whole years. Yeah. And so now I still have movies to watch.
Yeah. I have an extensive DVD collection, I would have to actually say. So, and then I also do, when I get the digital download versions, you can download the digital version on your computer, so you don't need internet to watch.
Yeah, I've got John Wick 1, 2, and 3 in 3 different versions.
Yeah. Oh man, those are so good. I love those movies. So the one thing that I do remember though about Fight Club was listening to the commentary, and it had Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, and David Fincher. What a treat. And Brad Pitt was mentioning something that he would give shit to David Fincher about it being so dark, about the coloring of the movie being so dark. And I just remember I was like, Brad Pitt is giving David Fincher shit about his coloring on the movie. And Fincher's just like, I was just going for a mood. I'm going for a mood. It might have been a little bit dark.
No,
there.
Absolutely. I mean, like if you see it through the eyes of, like, you know, the narrator, Edward Norton, everything was kind of dark, you know? And so like you would see everything in dark tones until I would say you probably wouldn't see anything in a more lighter color until actually he has that epiphany that, oh shit, you know, we're doing some bad stuff right now.
Wow. It's all coming to fruition when he kind of realizes, oh, he's the one. When he goes to all these cities at the end and he realizes, oh, it's him. But he had a contingency though. That's the crazy thing. He had a contingency for himself, looking for himself. That's some crazy stuff. And that's we're only on the 5th favorite movie, guys. This is really good.
Yeah, that's the first one. Huh.
All right. Fight Club. Fight Club's great. I love it. David Fincher, amazing. Brad Pitt, killed it. I want to get a six-pack like Brad Pitt. Did that inspire you to get your six-pack? Because Brad Pitt kind of has a weird six-pack in that movie. You know what I mean? They kind of look like dinosaur tiles, you know?
It's so funny, though, is because, like, every motivational story, every person that I've, like, come into in the, you know, within the martial arts world, the acting world, or, you know, the stunt world and all that, within the years, they always reference Brad Pitt from Fight Club, which is really funny. But I guarantee I mean, like, honestly, you look at his physique then, he was just really, really skinny. Though he was ripped, but he was really, really skinny. He just didn't have too much muscle, you know?
Okay.
And it sucks because that's a body that isn't eating enough calories to, like, maintain, like, proper energy. I mean, like, I'm sure that he's getting, like, you know, he's not like massively training, but I guarantee you he was really tired throughout that process of getting that physique because, you know, it takes a lot out of you. You got to do a lot of cardio. You got to eat properly. But, you know, once you start bulking up and I mean, like, what was it when he did Troy? He got huge, you know?
Right.
And so, like, that was more like, oh yeah, that was more, you're able to eat more. It's a more sustainable and fulfilling, like, physique type. So it's just like, yeah. Wow. I mean, I've always tried to look at Fight Club as, like, motivation, but, like, as of now, like, now that I see it, it's just like, okay, it sucks now. I got to try to get better. You know, you're just not eating enough calories to be able to maintain this body weight. You have to, like, in order to be able to hold that, it's either I've got to keep living that lifestyle and just kind of be miserable, or I got to get bigger and I can eat more. And that's my excuse to eat more.
Wow. Okay. There you go. That's great. Okay, so what about, let's switch it up a little bit. How
Okay.
about your top, like, well, it's still top five, but we're gonna go back and forth between TV shows and movies. So, still, what's your fifth position, but for TV show?
For TV shows, and it could be any TV shows.
Any TV show in existence, just has to be a real TV show.
A real TV show. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to start off with the one that I watched the most, and that's The Simpsons. I always have on in the background. The Simpsons just has the comedy is just right up my alley, and it's just very simple, like line delivery. It doesn't have to have like an actual joke. It could just be a certain line, and just the way they deliver it will just make me laugh so hard, just so hard.
The Simpsons, man, that's crazy. Yeah. Why The Simpsons? I mean, I know you just said kind of a big spiel about it, which was great, but what about the comedy? Like, because you said it's your, and I personally, I respect The Simpsons, Futurama. I think me personally have a trigger for The Simpsons though, because I would go with my mom, because my mom was a massage therapist, right? So we would go to all these different houses. Sometimes it was a really nice house. Sometimes it was a really crappy apartment, whatever. It depended on who it was. And, but it was always kind of like The Simpsons, and Futurama and King of the Hill. They would be on. And it's not like that they're bad. They just, you ever watch something and if you've been depressed and then that thing came on, and so now you associate that feeling with that movie or that TV show. And so that's what I feel like with The Simpsons and Futurama is like, they're good shows. I just don't watch them anymore because it makes me feel like I'm a kid tagging along with my mom. And I'm just like, it's literally one of those shows. I remember having this conversation recently with my girlfriend, and it was like, she's like, oh yeah, Simpsons is good. Yeah, Futurama, King of the Hill is great. I was like, yeah, they're great. They just bring on slight moments of depression in my life just by making me think I'm a 12-year-old kid again.
I get that,
but there's certain you love it. I mean, you like the comedy, you relate to it. Tell me about that.
Here's the I love the style of comedy. I love the style of writing. It's just very it's very witty. And just the line delivery, it's just great. I mean, the only thing about it though is that and this is something you could say for like all TV shows growing up within like the 80s and 90s. It's always like, or comedy shows, where when it comes with like families, and the dad is always like the guy that goes to work and then he comes home and he's like grumpy, and the only thing he wants to do is just drink beer and not talk to his family. And the wife is always annoying, and the kids are always brats or whatever, and they get into mischief. That's pretty much The Simpsons, it's a very dysfunctional family. And I feel that like now, like growing up, that kind of like cemented in a lot of our heads that like, that's how families are.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's like now when I watch The Simpsons, I still find it funny, but like I look at it and it's just like, in a more of a mindset of just like, that's kind of toxic right there. That's like that,
Right. What are they telling kids to be into their, like Homer? It was kind of a sad guy, you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
And like, hopefully you're not looking to him as a role model, but a person who's growing up with maybe not a huge father figure in their life, somebody has that sort of life. It may be, like that's what dads are supposed to be like, and they grow up kind of being like aloof and drinking, and so. I don't know how it went into this.
No, like that's how it is.
It's like a deep dive into The Simpsons and what it's doing to culture and our kids.
And that's honestly like when it came to entertainment, movies and TV shows, that really like it really did that. It kind of like cemented like a way of how life should be or how life works, just through watching these, family sitcoms, after school specials and stuff like that. So like Simpsons, one thing I've noticed that what's really funny is that they're really good about like, being politically correct and making sure like, you know, they fix things or whatever, or like they point things out in a comical way, but like, you know, they're doing so in a way to like, you know, bring attention to it and not like stir up stuff.
Okay.
But
Kind of like South Park, right? In a sense.
Yeah, in a sense, but not like they don't cross any lines, you know? But one thing I've noticed with The Simpsons, though, that kind of like, it's kind of gotten to me. They do a lot of suicide jokes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of suicide jokes. Like every other episode, there's like a suicide joke. And I mean, like, they don't ever stick around with the joke, but like they always put it in there and it's just like, ooh, and then it moves on, the story moves on. But I've noticed that there's always been like, there's every other story or episode, there's a suicide joke in there.
Wow. Simpsons taking a dark turn there, folks. Taking a dark turn in The Simpsons. No, for sure. It's been on for a long time. So we know that somebody's backing it. So who knows who's backing it, you know, honestly.
It's going to be a sad day once it ends, though. I'll tell you that.
Will it, though? Will it? I don't know. Because, you know, totally. if it goes away, can't they reboot it? Let it go away for like 20 years and then like reboot The Simpsons, you know, 2045.
That's up to Matt Groening, though, you know.
Maybe his son. Does he have a son? I don't know. Now we're just speculating.
I never dived that deep into it.
All right, team. Let's move on. Okay, number 4 for your movie. Top 4 movie. What do you got?
This one's going to come out of nowhere, but I'm going to say Rango.
Rango, the gecko movie with Johnny Depp?
Yep. The Nickelodeon movie. It's a great movie.
This was like what Nickelodeon's first venture into a feature CG movie. Does it sound familiar?
Give or take, yeah. I remember it came out like not too long after Nacho Libre, and I remember seeing like, oh wow, Nickelodeon's doing more movies now. So
and Johnny Depp, Gore Verbinski directing from Pirates, right? And so, what draws you in about Rango?
It's a great Western. It's a great Western movie. And you don't really see a whole lot of good Western movies nowadays. And you wouldn't think it's a good Western movie at all. But I mean, like, you watch it and it's awesome. You know, you've got this lizard that, you know, he's an actor. And so all of a sudden he's, you know, in the desert and he has to fend for himself. And what does he do? He adapts and survives, and he finds this whole like little village of like, you know, cowboys, and just turns into a cowboy, and like everyone like believes in him. I think it's a great story. It's just so fun. And the fact that they're able to use all these different types of animals that live in the desert to make like this Western, it's great. It's a fun movie.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so 2011 American computer animated Western comedy film directed by Gore Verbinski, screenplay by John Logan, starring Johnny Depp, Isla Fisher, Abigail Breslin, Ned Beatty, Alfred Molina, and others. This did pretty well at the 84th Academy Awards. The film won Best Animated Feature. Wow, that's pretty amazing. So making it the first non-Disney or Pixar film to win since 2006's Happy Feet. Amazing. So tell me, what are the elements of Rango that you find, speak to you the most? Do you see yourself in Rango in a sense?
No, I mean, honestly, Rango is it's strictly just enjoyment and entertainment. I think the story is just a great story. I think when it comes to breaking out of a character and creating its own, especially with a voice, because voice work is not easy. Mm-hmm. Some people think it is, but it really isn't. But Johnny Depp did awesome. You know, you could tell, you could hear that it's Johnny Depp, but it's a different character, and it's different. I mean, like, what's funny is that he's known for doing these wild characters, but every time I see these characters, they almost kind of seem the same. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know. They always just kind of seem somewhat similar to or same to all the others. But Rango is just different. You know, he's very oddball, and I don't know, I enjoy it.
That's cool. That's cool. Awesome. Rango. I love that. Okay, so number 4 for TV show. What do you got?
Number 4 for TV show. I'm going to go opposite, and I'm going to say Bob's Burgers.
Oh, no way. Bob's Burgers. Yeah. Tell me about this. How do you, what's the show? Give us a little spiel about the show.
And so, again, it's another family comedy cartoon show about a father that owns a burger shop, and he runs it with his family, and his family live in the apartment right above the burger shop. It's super, super witty. It's great. And I think the writing is just awesome. The voice actors in it, John Benjamin, he's amazing. I love listening to his voice. I think he's
You love listening to his voice? Why do you love listening to his voice?
It's just funny sounding, you know. It's like you know when it's John Benjamin. But what's really funny though is that this show is one of the reasons why I love it so much is that it's very relatable to me now, and especially Bob. You know, Bob's this kind of guy that's, you know, he's going through all the motions, and, you know, he's not too sure about a lot of things. He's very worried about things, but, you know, he lives life and he does it, you know, and he does it through the support of his family, even though, like, you know, his family can get into mischief and stuff like that. No matter what, he loves them. And, like, I think that's one thing that, like, I really enjoy about it. It's that, I mean, and again, it's a different type of family TV show in a different generation. So it's just like growing up, we had these dysfunctional families, but now we have these really functional families that are freaking hilarious. And you love to see them, you know, be there for each other. And it's even funnier when, like, they can go back and forth. So that's one of the reasons why I love Bob's Burgers.
Wow, that's amazing. That was a great way to wrap that up. Bob's Burgers. That's crazy. I've never seen Bob's Burgers. Could you, I mean,
really?
Never,
dude,
ever.
You would enjoy it. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Really? Okay.
The opening, like, it's just really witty, and, like, the opening, The Simpsons has the couch gag where, like, you know, every time they run into the living room and sit on the couch, it's always different. Well, in the beginning of Bob's Burgers, they always have the buildings that are next to the burger joint, and it always changes, to, like, a really witty, like, business name and stuff like that. And same with, like, he always has the burger of the day, and the burger of the day is always, like, you know, something funny. You know, it has a funny name, but it makes sense. Like, it's a really well written show.
Wow.
Actually, I think the creators of Bob's Burgers are also directing the new Deadpool.
Really?
So, I mean, like, if they use the same type of witty writing from Bob's Burgers into Deadpool 3, I think.
So they're directing or they're writing Deadpool 3?
One of the two.
I think, well, because the director of Deadpool 3 is Sean Levy, my boy. Sean Levy.
Oh, okay. So then I guess they're writing it.
They're probably writing it. That sounds about right. Yeah. We should probably look into that.
Yeah.
The writers. Let's look into that, actually. Hold on. The writers of Deadpool, Bob's Burgers. Wendy, let's see. Oh, wow. Look at this. Okay. So Wendy Mullocks and Lizzie Mullocks-Logan, who serve as writer and executive producers on Bob's Burgers, have signed on to pen the script for the movie, which will feature the return of Ryan Reynolds as the titular character. Ooh, so Bob's Burgers, they're going to be writing Deadpool 3. Sexy. Wendy and Lizzie. Interesting. I wonder what their deal is. I want to look into them a little bit more and see how they can. Well, is Bob their dad, I wonder? Oh, well, that's for another episode. How about number 3 for your movies? Hello, little doggy. We love dogs here. I've got 3 of them.
Cool. Number 3 for my movies.
Number 3.
What's funny is that I've always had this list ready, and now that, like, I'm being asked, I can't even come up with anything.
And now that people are, like, listening to every word that you're saying, you're like, I can't think of this.
I guess as of right, I'm going to go with something that will probably hit home to me a little bit more. I'm going to go with Shanghai Noon. Another Western.
My gosh, you do like Westerns, don't you? Shanghai Noon. Oh my gosh, is a 2000 martial arts Western comedy, action comedy film starring Jackie Chan, Owen Wilson, and Lucy Liu, directed by Tom Day, written by Alfred Goh and Miles Miller, starring Jackie Chan, Owen Wilson, and Lucy Liu. I just said that. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay, so tell me, please enlighten me why this is your top third favorite movie. Now I got to give a little background. Kevin was in a movie of mine, Heavy Lies. That's kind of how we got associated, was through a mutual friend, and he ended up doing some amazing action sequences and fight sequences in the movie. And I would just assume that maybe Jackie Chan is a hero of yours, maybe? Inspiration?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. He's the man. He's Big Brother. He's pretty much the guy that got me into everything. I don't want to say martial arts because, I got to say growing up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Those are the guys that turned me on to martial arts. But Jackie Chan, he turned me on to performance, clowning. If you watch his old movies, they weren't just, fighting or martial arts. They were a performance. It was a show, it was funny to watch. And all the different types of acrobatics, the stunts like jumping from building to building or, up something, climbing up something, through something, what have you, like watching all that. I was just like, man, that's what I want to do, and I kind of kept up with it for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah. This guy trains like crazy, dude. Honestly, I think Jet Li, I think Jackie Chan, I think Donnie Yen. When I think of your work ethic, who was Ong Bak? Tony Jaa.
Yeah, Tony Jaa.
Love all these people. So tell me a little bit about Shanghai Noon. Why has it got a special place for you?
It's a funny movie. It's a Western. It was filmed in Nevada, but it takes place in Nevada, supposedly, which was another reason. It was a stupid reason, but I loved it. But no, I just thought it was kind of cool. A guy that comes from China into the United States, at that time, and he's fighting against, Native Americans, and then going, fighting against, train thieves and stuff like that. Like, it's just a fun movie, certain stunts that they did, the rope dart that they made out of the horseshoe, I thought that was really cool. I'm learning rope dart and chain whip and stuff like that. And so I see those moves and now it's just like, oh, that's how he did it, just swing the stuff around.
Yeah. He had a knife or something in the end of his hair and he used the hair as that rope. That you use that I see on his social media all the time, him practicing his stuff. It's so cool. It's awesome. So inspiring. Shanghai Noon. I love it, man. Honestly, Owen Wilson is hilarious. I'm a huge Jackie Chan film buff. I love his stuff.
Same here.
I was a part of the Jackie Chan fan club, actually, and I got videos every month, a different Jackie Chan movie. But they were these obscure. He's done hundreds of movies, folks, literally, and a lot of them are in Chinese, and you have to watch them dubbed or whatnot. And this is back in VHS time, And so I'd be getting down on some old obscure Jackie Chan movies that you never see, But then finally I'd get a good one like The Legend of the Drunken Master or, Rumble in the Bronx or Police Story or something. They'd spare those out a little bit. They spread them out. But huge Jackie Chan movie fan, buff. Bro, I don't even know what I'm saying, but Rush Hour is a huge inspiration.
Rush Hour is great.
I love
1, 2, and 3.
Oh my gosh, Chris Tucker with Jackie Chan, just amazing in that. And then I think just people know pairing, Jackie Chan up with somebody really good, really makes the whole thing. So if you can place him well, let him go.
Put him with somebody that knows how to talk or that can talk fast, and everyone's going to be all about it. I mean, what he did a movie with Johnny Knoxville, and it makes sense. It was terrible, but it makes sense, you know?
Did he do a movie with Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah, it's called Skip Trace. It wasn't good, but I watched it and
I
thought it was funny.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Was he good? Oh, was Jackie Chan good in it? Was he killing it?
I mean, he was Jackie Chan. He was still Jackie Chan.
Do you remember when Jackie Chan was kind of making a slight American comeback, and he did this movie called, what was it called?
The Foreigner?
Yes. And like in the trailer, you would see him, like, the final shot was him hiding up behind a refrigerator and punching the guy in the face. Yeah. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Whatever happened to that movie? Was it good? Did you see it?
I thought it was great.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. The only thing is it's really slow.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like Jason Bourne. You know, it's like the Bourne movies. It's just very slow. It's more government talk.
Okay.
Government agency talk and lingo, and then it has the action. I liked it. It was good. I'm actually trying to find it because I want to use it for reference to build a character that I'm working on as of right now for another project.
You're trying to find how to watch it?
I'm just trying to find where it's at.
What's it called again?
The Foreigner?
The Foreigner. Let's see if we can go and find it, dude. Let's see, The Foreigner. The Foreigner. Starring Jackie Chan. I don't think I'm spelling foreigner right. I am horrible at spelling foreigner. You think it would give me the option? Wow, this is really sad, folks. I've got to Google The Foreigner to know how to spell foreigner. Oh man. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, got it. The Foreigner. Wow, this is crazy. I can't believe they don't have it on. There's a website called Just Watch, and it literally has usually everything, and I don't know why it doesn't have this on there.
Maybe. I mean, if anything, I'll probably end up having to find it on like Amazon or Apple.
There it is. Okay, 2017. Here we go. Kwan is a humble London businessman whose long-buried past erupts in a revenge-fueled vendetta when the only person left for him to love, his teenage daughter, dies in an Irish Republican Army car bombing. Oh my gosh, he's got to do a relentless search. So check it out. You can rent this on Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, Vudu, Redbox, Apple TV. But it's not a part of any subscription packages.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Yeah, Just Watch. I am not affiliated with them. I don't get paid. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but Just Watch is an awesome website to go to if you're trying to find out where you can stream, especially if you got a bunch of streaming services that you kind of double up on and you're trying to figure out where it's at. You don't want to have to check them all. JustWatch.com is pretty cool. So let's do third TV show. What do you got?
Third TV show. I'm going to go Ted Lasso right now. That's,
I love Ted Lasso.
I love Ted Lasso.
Why do you love Ted Lasso?
I mean, the writing is just amazing. You don't hate anyone on that show. I mean, like, you just don't hate anybody on that show. Maybe, except for Rupert, maybe. But I mean, like, the guy's barely in it. But like, even the characters that you should hate, you don't. And it's crazy though, is that like everyone has grown since the first season in a certain way, and you could see that growth. Apple TV, they're very big on mental health TV shows, and Ted Lasso is one of them. But it's a really good feel-good show. Great feel-good show.
Wait, so Apple TV is known for doing mentally positive, healthy TV shows? Tell me more about this. It's the first time I've heard about this.
They're not. But if you look and you start watching some of all their stuff on the catalog, they all have something to do with mental health or some type of situation that is going on within society as of right now. They're very they're very on it with stuff going on right now. What was it? The morning show. The morning show is all about Me Too movement, which is a great TV show, by the way. I watched the first season. I want to get into the second season, but I mean, Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell, Reese Witherspoon. You can't do wrong with a cast like that. It's a great.
I love that show. I honestly, it's one of those shows where it's like I got into it and then I got kind of busy, so I haven't finished it up, but it's been on my list to sit down and finish that up. Jennifer Aniston is great in that show. Reese Witherspoon just killing it. And Billy Crudup is in there too, coming in, stealing the show.
You kind of want to hate him, but like he's got some charisma in that show. It's just like, okay, I want more Billy Crudup.
Yeah, that's right. Almost Famous, baby. That's where I remembered him from. That's amazing. Okay, so let's do top 2, second number place for movies.
For movies, it's kind of like, I want to say they're one and the same as of right now, because they're pretty much the same movie. They're just different. They're pretty much the same movie, but The Departed and Black Mass.
Okay, The Departed. Let's talk about The Departed. I love The Departed. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Please give us just a little taste of what is The Departed.
It's about there's this drug lord, this guy, Frank Costello, and pretty much he is pretty much tapped into the whole city, and he owns pretty much the whole city. So he has a guy, a rat that works for the police, and that's pretty much how he's able to get away with a lot of his crimes. But on the flip side, there's also a rat that's working for him that works for the police. So it's kind of like one and the same. There's just rats, and they're all just trying to find each other. It's a fun, like, suspenseful type movie.
That's amazing. So The Departed is a 2006 American epic crime thriller film directed by Martin Scorsese, written by William Monahan. It's a remake of a 2002 Hong Kong film, Infernal Affairs, also loosely based on the real-life Boston Winter Hill Gang. That's kind of exactly what you're talking about. I do believe that this came away for best picture, right? Yeah. So at the 79 Academy Awards, this won for best picture, best director, best adapted screenplay, and best film editing. If you guys haven't seen The Departed, you guys have obviously been sleeping on this. It's a classic movie. One of my favorite Jack Nicholson scenes with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he is just pretty much telling him, he's got a rat, he's got a kneeing, thawing, steaming rat, and Leo's got to kind of stand up against him and kind of let him know that he's not the rat, even though he is. And he ends up doing a good job of it, I would say. Wow, The Departed. Amazing. Well, do you remember anything specific about, when you first saw The Departed, or like things that stood out? Yes, it's a great movie, but tell me why has it affected you to where it's one of your favorite movies?
I mean, it was a fun movie. Also, at the time, I was moving to Boston as well. So, it kind of fit in. I kind of got a sense of what the city was going to be like after watching that movie. But it was very well written, though. I mean, very well. So well. It
helped you kind of figure out how to talk like a Bostonian, or?
It actually helped me just kind of figure out lifestyle. I wouldn't say like talking. I mean, like talking like them, that came just from being in society for so damn long, and being around Southeast, working in the South End, walking dogs out there and stuff like that. So,
do you feel like Boston people have like a stigma of being angry?
No.
They're like, do you think they're like pretty nice? Would you say?
Absolutely. To be honest with you, I fit in with Bostonians more than I fit in with people in the West Coast.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because I understand them. They're unapologetic. Two, they just say what's on their mind. It's just like, this is what's it, and that's it, And,
what do you think the impression is of the West Coast people? Do they not say what's on their mind?
I think a lot of people are reserved out here, Very nice. Too nice about things.
Too nice.
Oh, yeah.
See, now this leads me to believe that the Bostonians maybe do get a bad rap for being a little harsh.
No, it's just, they're very
direct,
and
there's no filter. There's no nice filter.
Sometimes you need that, and it's very refreshing because it's just like, okay,
And sometimes you just want to cry, and someone yelling at you is like the last thing. It just makes you an angry person. I wonder, because I've had a few people say that, like the friends that moved to Boston, they became super angry, and then there was something about that city. So I don't know. Maybe it's all malarkey.
No, I wouldn't say it's angry, but I mean,
just direct. It's like New York. You know what I mean? You just you're getting around like, I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
Yeah, and like people they go about their business. They don't care, but out here, somebody says that and they're just like, oh, well, excuse me, they get so offended, just keep on keeping on.
Just keep on keeping on. I love that. That's like a Matthew McConaughey kind of statement. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's go to top 3 of your favorite TV show.
Are we on top 3?
Sorry, top 2.
Okay.
We're on top 2. Sorry, guys. I'm a little drunk. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't drank anything. I'm just drinking water. Getting drunk on water, really. Yeah, so second position for TV show.
Man, there's just so many good ones.
So many good ones.
That can only be. I want to say for like the longest time, it was the Arrow. That show Arrow.
Green Arrow?
Yeah.
Is it called Green Arrow or The Arrow?
I think it's called Arrow. Yeah, it was called Arrow. And then there was Flash. CW was doing their whole superhero thing, which is great just because like if you watched all those, they were mirroring what Marvel was doing with the Avengers.
Oh, okay. They were building like a universe.
Yeah, but it's like the CW universe, and they actually did it very well.
Did it good?
Yeah.
I remember CW was like Buffy, right? Buffy and Angel, and I did like that. That was really nice. And then
sci-fi,
Smallville.
Like, yeah.
So they they had to deal with DC then, obviously.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Arrow.
The story arcs. The story arcs were written after Batman comic story arcs. And that's one of the things that like I've noticed within some of the other TV shows that they did as well, because The Flash, even though Flash had its own storyline, I feel that they took elements of Spider-Man and wrote it in lieu of The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In order to make that character so lovable. And then you've got the Arrow, Green Arrow, and you watch that show and it's more darker. He's got that hood on, he's got his mask on, covers his voice. I've noticed
he's like a rich guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, like they've definitely like took the Batman story arc and made it Green Arrow. And they took all the elements, even though, I mean, like in the comic books, Oliver Queen is written like this, but the way they told the story, they pretty much gave him more of a Batman vibe than like, Green Arrow, a guy that wears a green hood and shoots a bow and arrow, trick arrows, mind you.
Like that one guy, like Hawkeye.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, if I were to go back and rewatch some of the seasons, I could tell you what season correlates with what story arc they took that from.
Wow, you're that much of a fan.
That's how noticeable. I read comic books as a kid, so it's just like I noticed, I could see where they took these things from. And I mean, like, they didn't do anything wrong. They just they took the story arc and made it their own, kind of written in a way that would work for Green Arrow.
So what makes it a good show, though? What makes it that something so that you want to put it as your top 2 of your favorite shows of all time? That's a heavy thing.
I mean, it's a comic book show. TV show, so it has that elements of the comic books. The fight choreography was great. First time like I've actually seen really, really, really good fight choreo within a TV show, because a lot of it's kind of wonky, very no rhythm, staccato. So seeing that was really cool. And I mean, like, just the fact that they're able to take different characters, even though, I mean, like, villains from all the different DC story arcs and DC comics, and like bring them into this TV show, even though, like, you know, some of these characters are, you know, Batman villains or Superman villains and stuff like that. They introduce Suicide Squad, live action Suicide Squad, before DC did their version of Suicide Squad.
Wow, they had kind of like a whole little mini world going on, a TV world.
If you watch it, like, yeah, you could see like all these different characters, and you could see like the way they wrote these things. Like they literally, between Arrow, Flash, I forget the other one. It's the time traveling one, and then I think Supergirl. They all correlate into one, and then like each season they have crossover, a four episode crossover series where each episode crosses over into each one, and it's one big storyline, and it's so cool.
Wow, that's epic. Awesome. Heck yeah, thank you so much for explaining.
They did a great job. CW did a great job writing their own like live action comic book series within DC, and I feel that gets overshadowed because of what they're doing with Ben Affleck and, you know, the Man of Steel and the Justice League and stuff like that. Like, all these CW shows that were written and filmed and, like, you know, that came out just overshadowed. Nobody saw these things besides me.
Besides you.
I mean, they're really cool though. They're really, really cool, and I highly suggest them.
Absolutely.
As a story. Yeah.
That's killer. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for that. How about your number one movie of all time? Number one movie of all time favorite that you want to share?
This movie was never on my list, and I could probably think of one that should be on there, but I can't. So I'm going to tell you this movie because it's the movie that I've seen the most out of any movie ever.
Wow.
Growing up for me, and out of anything. And that is the original Drunken Master with Jackie Chan.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, let's talk about that, please. So why is this one so good?
This was actually this was Jackie's breakout movie. This was the movie that actually made him popular in America for some odd reason. I'm not too sure why. I think it's because it had
alcohol
involved, and it's like drunken dancing. But like, if you watch it, it's very comical. It's very clowny.
Oh yes.
The choreography is amazing. The fight scenes are just awesome. Very blocky. That very old school Hong Kong style.
I love that
choreography. It's great. I used to watch it before I used to go train, and so that's why I've seen it more times than ever. You know, I'd put it on in the background, and then whenever like the part where he starts like actually doing like the fight scenes and like the forms and stuff like that, like I would stop and just watch, and that would get me pumped up. And I would go to the dojo and start training for hours, and I still do now. Like, the movie, God, that movie is just great.
That's amazing. Do you remember any? I mean, you said you would watch it before you would go and train. Do you remember like moments when you were like I would you what was the first time you saw that movie? Can you remember?
It was like in 7th grade, I want to say.
Okay, can you try to give us the play-by-play and just kind of as much as you can, seeing it, the reaction you had?
I saw it, and my buddy let me borrow it, and I think I dubbed it on VHS cassette. You know, 2 VCRs at the time.
2 VCRs, 1 TV.
So
oh yeah.
So it's fun.
That's great.
No, my buddy was like, he lent me a whole bunch of different like kung fu movies, and like that was in it, and that one just like stuck out the most. Even though I already knew who Jackie Chan was at the time, but that one again, it's just like it's a different element of a martial arts movie because it's very clowny, and I guess like coming from me from a circus background, like I respect that the most. Like that, it's not like or like so many kicks and stuff like that. It's reactions. It's, making sure it's funny. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty dope. So, Drunken Master is a 1978 Hong Kong martial arts comedy film directed by Yan Wu Ping and starring Jackie Chan, Yun Si Tian, Hao Yang Zhang Li, written by Xiao Lung and Ning Si Yun. Man, this was a big deal.
When did it come out?
This was 1978.
1978. Yes, that's the original one. And then they made The Legend of the Drunken Master, which
was that still Jackie Chan?
Still Jackie Chan. This Legend of Drunken Master, I feel, is what most people are more familiar.
I think that's the more the one where he has the final scene with the guy in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one we're talking about, right?
Yeah, and like there's all the fire and stuff like that. So fun story. When I was, I'm probably in 7th grade, 8th grade, somewhere around there, 9th grade. I met Jackie Chan when he was filming Rush Hour 2. He was promoting his action figure. And so I went down, I got to meet him, talk to him, stuff like that. And we all got to ask him questions. I asked him, I was like, what's the most challenging fight scene you ever had to choreograph? And he said, the fight scene in Legend of Drunken Master took 3 months to film.
Oh, man. And that's that final one, right?
Yeah. 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, that thing is amazingly crazy.
So one thing I'm going to mention it now because I've dropped his name so many times. And since we're talking about film and work and choreography,
sure.
I just recently got approved or accepted. And so to go to Beijing, and I'm going in August actually. And so later on this year, I'm going to Beijing to the Jackie Chan training center, stunt training center. And I'm going to train with his stunt crew.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's so amazing. You're going to be training with the Chan. Dude, that's so cool, man. Super oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. That's amazing. So number one, Legend of the is it Drunken Master or the Legend of the Drunken Master? Legend of the Drunken Master is 1994.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the one that a lot of people know of. That's the giant fight scene at the end in the wooden area, the more current. But the Drunken Master one, that's the one I saw, and I was confused, man. Literally, because remember I told you I was part of that Jackie Chan fan club, and I would get VHSs, and I would get the obscure ones from the 70s that nobody saw. I mean, people saw them, but Americans didn't really get their eyes on them. And I got the Drunken Master, and I was like, "This is Drunken Master? I don't know. I don't think so." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay. I see the one in Blockbuster, the 1994 one." And I'm like, "Okay, it makes sense." And then I found out there was a second one that they had that was old school that came again later in the month.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, to be able to really enjoy that one, you'd probably have to watch the English dub and not the subtitles. The English dub is just much more entertaining. It just makes more sense.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is insane. I remember when he's drinking so much that he just throws up because he needs that extra power. It was like him drinking would give him more power to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Popeye.
It was like literally the drunken form. If he was like Popeye. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like Popeye.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally Popeye.
Instead of spinach, it's literally more alcohol. That's crazy. That's powerful. Okay, number one, TV show. I'm gonna now, and this is giving me a good idea because I think now I'm gonna start with the TV show so that we end with the number one movie. So, what is the number one TV show that you would say?
The entire office is in complete chaos. Luckily, they have the right warlock for the job.
Don't be afraid. I'm merely a man. If you want to be losers the rest of your life, keep thinking like an animator. But if you want to start making money, then we're going to need to make some adjustments.
Perfect, because I have lunch with my client.
Oh, you mean the spooky witchy girl?
Yeah. I'll see you later.
Hey, I got a meeting with a witch myself. A sandwich.
Oh my goodness.
Don't tell me this one's mine.
Oh, no, that's, Can I just tell you inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once we have control of the media of this delightful little town,
And we'll move on to the next one. And the next one. And the next one. Until they're all mine.
Don't you mean ours?
It's perfect.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it
Do you have time for lunch so we can discuss this more? Perfect.
So we have to find him and save him before Jack figures out who I am and where I am, because, well, we all know that Jack will destroy everyone and everything to get to me.
You mean to tell me that Jack Van Buren, the most powerful, ill-intentioned warlock this side of the Queen's Castle, has managed to get your boyfriend, that also knows you're a witch, alone with him? Sounds a little fishy to me.
Let's turn this up a notch.
You're a witch.
Witch.
Right, a witch, which is insane because I thought I was the weird one for being raised Pentecostal.
I'm a good witch.
What exactly does that mean?
Welcome back to Flashback Montage. We got one more TV show left. Number one TV show. Let's talk about it. What is your number one TV show that you love and has captured your heart, Kevin?
I like how you go that you love and has captured your heart. And I honestly, I can't think of one.
Sure.
There's just so many. I mean, like I just rotate through I pretty much rotate through the same ones in all honesty. I do try to keep it eclectic and try to watch different things. Like I'm currently in the middle of Barry.
Oh my gosh, dude. Barry has gotten so dark. I love it.
It's an awesome show. Yeah, I know. Like I thought it was really funny at first, and then it just started to get more dark and dark and dark and dark. That's a great show. True Detective. I love True Detective just because it's such a well-written.
So if you had to pick one though that we were going to deep dive into, which one would you pick? Would you pick Barry? Would you pick True Detective, or do you have another one?
See, these are all just like memorable ones. But I guess I could say
number one. I'm gonna have to cut this part out.
Yeah. Actually, I'm actually probably gonna have to say SNL or the Tonight Show. One of those two. I love the live aspect of it, which is really funny, is because I've been trying to get away from live performance, but I love the live aspect of it. I love the comedy aspect of it too. I mean, like, what's really funny though is that like I'm so deep dived into action and stunts and fighting and what have you, and playing gritty characters and grimacing looking characters and stuff like that. But I love comedy and I want to do more comedy. And I love this. I love the writing that they have within SNL and the Tonight Show. I used to be, I was a big Conan O'Brien fan, huge fan, which he used to be a writer on
for The Simpsons.
For The Simpsons. And I could tell where his jokes were.
Oh, really? You could?
Yeah. In the earlier seasons when he was still with them, I could tell, exactly where Conan's jokes were. Like the monorail episode, that was one of his episodes, and you could tell every time, like he would butt in with a joke. It's just really funny.
That's hilarious. So SNL. So what about SNL makes you said the writing, some of the characters, what dynasty of SNL are we talking?
I love the writer's room aspect of it. Like, the fact that they all get in a room and they just start pitching things. And even though one thing doesn't get, doesn't get accepted, they still pitch it over and over and over again, and I kind of like that aspect. And you could see like the ones that are just really stupid, and some of them that like actually work. Like I don't know, it's just really funny. Like I like that aspect, the fact that they're actually they're the guys that are working. They're doing it, they're performing, they're writing it, they're delivering the jokes, they're all doing it live. That is awesome.
It has sort of like a play kind of sort of deal with it. And then with a host where they get to throw them in, randomly
to the whole structure of it. Like the whole, like, you have to read cue cards. I would screw that up. I would have to know all of my lines going into that show and know all the lines to every skit going into that show. I wouldn't be able to just like, all right, go out there and just read off the cue card.
that is a tough, that does take a lot of skill to be able to handle
and not break.
Oh yeah, and to not like laugh. I mean, I guess that's part of some of the fun part is that they break up and they laugh and they they do their thing and they kind of have their moments because it's interactive with the audience. I think that's the best part.
It's a live, it's still live, and so it's like the fact that they're doing something they shouldn't be doing makes it even more funnier,
Oh, exactly. I love that. Awesome. SNL. Wow. That was amazing. Thank you so much. That takes us to our next section, where we're going to go to Hot Shots. All right. So this is a section where we're going to go through, every episode has a different year assigned to it. And this year you have been assigned 1985. Does this sound familiar?
It's my birth year.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I did not know that. I did not do that on purpose, but that actually happened on another episode.
I could have sworn you did.
I swear I didn't, though. I never asked you for your birthday ever either. It just, I chose it. Wow. Okay. So obviously some of the amazing movies, I'm just going to kind of run them off, is Back to the Future, right? The Breakfast Club, and The Goonies with Back to the Future and The Goonies, both produced by my boy, Steven Spielberg. Huge fan. Okay, so let's touch a little bit about, like, what do you think about these movies? These were top movies of the year. Did Back to the Future have any sort of feeling to you, or did you have this hello doggy? What's your dog's name?
This is Rue. She keeps trying to climb up on my
Hi, Rue. Welcome to Flashback Montage, Rue. We're a huge fan of animals. We're animal advocates here at Flashback Montage. So if you ever have any pets that you're going to bring on with you, and they're as cute as Rue, we totally advise that. So let's talk about a little bit about Back to the Future. I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future personally. Do you like Back to the Future?
I love it. It's my favorite trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Didn't make top 5 though.
Not top 5. It would have been in my top 5. I'd have been like the second one, part 2.
It used to be up there.
So let's talk about Back to the Future a little bit. It's Marty McFly. It's Michael J. Fox. It's Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown. He goes back in time. He meets his parents, right? And it's kind of a sort of weird incestuous sort of situation going on there a little bit. Bob Gale, the writer, he kind of came up with that. What would it be like to go back and meet your, parents back in the day when they were young? And he has to go on this whole plan with the help of a young Doc Brown, to get back to his normal the normal time, which is 1985, which was actually the year that you were born. Funny enough.
Yep. Sure is.
Crazy. Do you remember watching this movie as a kid?
I remember watching it when I was like 7. So it was probably obviously like 7 years after it came out, and it didn't really register.
Okay.
What was going on, but the name was so popular, and I was like, oh, it's Back to the Future, Back to the Future. Right. So, and I remember watching the first one, and the second one had already come out already, and I think the third one was already out as well.
Yeah, like 93, I think that came out.
Yeah. But I remember watching the first one and actually it registering in my head. I thought to myself, they didn't go to the future once.
Did they get back to the future ever?
They didn't go to the future once. Like, what the hell?
They did it. They got to get back. You got to watch No, they do. At the very end, he gets back.
Back to the future.
Well, yeah, because from the 50s, 85 is the future.
You're an 11-year-old kid. You think they're going to go to the future when you hear the title.
He's like 11-year-old logic on the movie title. He's like, dude.
Again, you got to read the title careful.
That's funny. Anybody who's watching this podcast, if you have any comments on here, if you think that Back to the Future, the title is misleading for kids, please put that in the comments. Let us know. I would be interested to find out.
Well, isn't the second one Back from the Future, though?
No, it's Back to the Future Part 2. That's right.
Is it?
Yes, of course, dude. It's on one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. You got to trust me on that. Okay. So that leads us to our next discussion of TV shows in 1985. The top TV shows of 1985 are The Golden Girls, MacGyver,
my friend,
and Moonlighting. So Golden Girls, did you ever have an affinity for Golden Girls?
No,
that was like a thing. Some people did, some people I've got a couple mugs of Golden Girls. It was like that. And then I have some friends that have like the Golden Girls squad goals sort of deal, I want to be have friends like the Golden Girls.
It was always one of those shows that came on after something that I was watching. And then if I didn't change the channel, I would just kind of listen to it in the background. Sometimes it would make me laugh. Sometimes it is what it is. But yeah, no, I was never really big into Golden Girls or MacGyver.
Yeah. Or Moonlighting. I think that's with
the concept of MacGyver was cool, but yeah.
MacGyver was cool. They redid a MacGyver, didn't they? They rebooted it for modern times.
I guess so. Yeah, USA show or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, USA or something. Yeah, exactly. That was one of those.
I think shows. One show that came out in 1985. I think it came out in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon.
Really?
I think it's 85.
Let's see. 1987.
Damn.
So close. So close. 2 more years. That's a different episode. We'll have to have you on for then. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, they're really good, actually. We were just talking about them in the other episode.
That was a coming of age TV show for me.
And the movie too, dude.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I would expect a John Wick movie to be on your list, but it's not. It didn't grace it at all. I wonder why.
The John Wick movies are great, but I mean, they're just fighting. It's just one big stunt reel for the most part.
Right.
They're all cool. It's all jujitsu, So, I mean, and that's just the way a lot of fight choreographies, choreographed now. They like to do a lot of jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. But I mean, John Wick is cool, but I don't know. There's so many different other movies that kind of shaped me and made me the performer and actor of who I am. Mainly because the comical sense of it all.
Right, John Wick's cool, but to be honest, it's a little bit. The storyline's a little. It's how far can you really beat this thing? He killed somebody. Somebody killed his dog. He killed somebody, and now everybody's after him. And how far can you take that?
I mean, and again, I don't think anybody's really paying attention to the story though. You're just watching it for the action. That's it.
No, I mean you're following John Wick, Keanu Reeves, the nicest guy in Hollywood. Who could want to kill Keanu Reeves? Anybody who wants to kill Keanu Reeves is obviously a bad guy. Exactly. Well, Matthew Perry. Yeah, he's got a little vendetta. I guess he says he wants to find him to be. God. I don't know, but anyway, John Wick, beautifully shot, lots of fighting. Minuscule storylines, a dog so far can only go so far. Honestly, it's sad that somebody would kill a dog, especially the guy from Game of Thrones, that dude, Theon Greyjoy. If anybody remember that.
Well, I mean, here's the storyline makes sense, but of John, I don't know, it's just weird.
It's just weird. It's just weird. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next part of Hot Shots. Is we talk about a lifestyle coach who was killing it in that year of 1985. So we're gonna go into Louise Hay. She was an American motivational author and founder of the Hay House Publishing. She's best known for her book, You Can Heal Your Life, which has sold millions of copies worldwide and has helped people all around the world overcome their physical, emotional, and spiritual challenges. Hay's work focuses on the power of positive affirmations and self-love, and her teachings have inspired countless individuals to take control of their lives and live in a more fulfilling way. So though she passed away, rest in power, in 2017, Louise Hay's legacy continues to inspire and empower people all over the world. Wow. Are you familiar at all with Miss Hay's work?
No. To be honest with you, I'm not too familiar on a whole lot of life coaches.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah. Not a lot are. That's kind of why I wanted to do a little section on them specifically, just to bring a little bit more awareness. So very cool. Check out Miss Hay's work on YouTube. Go buy her books if that's something that you're into. Awesome, man. Well, this is kind of the closing thoughts forum. What do you have any ideas or anything you want to summarize about our discussion today? Any last remarks?
Last thoughts. Jerry Springer. Last thoughts. No, I mean, this was a great conversation. I enjoyed being on here and talking about all these movies that kind of shaped my life, and yeah, it was fun.
That's amazing.
It's hard to have conversation nowadays. So.
Yeah, no, I'm super stoked that you were able to come and join us. Now, I do like to do this little thing where I like to surprise our guests. I don't tell them about this, so I'm going to send you an email. You should be receiving it pretty soon. Let me know if you've gotten it. Go ahead and take a look. Let me know if you've received it.
Yeah, I received it.
Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and do a surprise scene from the 1985 classic movie Back to the Future. So Marty is going to be played by, obviously, Kevin Sanders, and Doc will be played by moi. All right, I'll also be the narrator. Interior, Doc Brown's garage, night. Marty is in Doc Brown's garage, where Doc is explaining the intricacies of time travel and the importance of the DeLorean. Marty, this is it. This is the answer. It's been staring me in the face the whole time. The flux capacitor.
Flux capacitor?
Yes, it's what makes time travel possible. The DeLorean is equipped with a flux capacitor, which requires 1.21 gigawatts of electricity to function. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
But Doc, how are we going to generate that much power?
That's where this comes in. Plutonium! We need plutonium to generate 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
Plutonium? Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me this sucker is nuclear?
No, Marty. This sucker's electrical, but I need nuclear reaction to generate 1.21 gigawatts of electricity I need.
Doc, you don't just walk into a store and buy plutonium. Did you rip that off?
Of course, from a group of Libyan nationalists. They wanted me to build a bomb, so I took their plutonium and I turned it and gave it into a shiny bomb casing filled with used pinball machine parts. Come on! Let's get you a radiation suit. We must prepare to travel into the future. The scene ends as Doc and Marty prepare their time-traveling adventure. Wow, man. Great job.
You're a dork.
Oh, man. So here we come to an end of another wild ride through the halls of time with Flashback Montage. It's been a hell of a trip, my friends, as we've revisited the most iconic movies, TV shows, and cultural moments in the past with a fresh, irreverent eye. We've laughed. We've cried. And maybe learned a thing or two along the way, but the journey never truly ends, does it? So there's another year, another moment, and another time to explore. So keep your eyes peeled and your eyes open and your heart receptive, and join us again next week for another installment of Flashback Montage. Until then, stay weird, stay curious, and keep the nostalgia alive. Thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us as our guest, and we hope to have you on again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.